Hello, hello. Hi, Linda. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes before we get started, because I know that people come in from other presentations. So yeah. Linda, I know. Carolyn, I think you might have been at one of our presentations before. Valera, hello. Katrin and Rosalie. I don't know if you've been to a Cowgirlblues presentation before, but if you, maybe you could pop a message in the chat and let us know, because it's just helpful to know kind of, should we start at the very beginning of the Cowgirlblues story? Oh, yes, thank you, Valera. Sorry about that. Enable. You should have live transcription coming through now. And you can just...
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hello, Cindy. Nice to see you. And I'm not flying solo this evening. I have Katie hiding over here at the moment, but she will do our little hellos and intros as we get started. How have you been enjoying VKL so far this weekend? Yeah, it's good. Good. Has everyone been attending classes or at the marketplace?
Just shopping.
Just shopping. That is
not enough time to take classes. This time anyway.
This time, okay. Yeah, it's a good time of year to be doing shopping, especially as you're staring down the barrel of a long, cold winter. Good, good. And any, other than Cowgirlblues, obviously, any particularly exciting things that you have seen or have been on your wish list for shopping?
The Wing and a Prayer Farm, their presentation, they're a farm in Vermont, and I've heard of them, but I just so admire her business, you know. And it's a funny thing because she has a sheep breed that's particular to the Valais region of Switzerland, okay, which is a place where I have visited a few different years to teach baton twirling.
Wow.
So anyway, but yeah, the natural dyeing and the raising of the animals, and you know, so it's very impressive. But I always get new connections at these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I particularly love, but I don't think they're on this month, a verb for keeping warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like from the sheep to the yarn and the natural dyeing, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Good, good. So just to double check, some of you I know have been to our presentation before, but maybe for any of the others, I don't recognize everybody's names. If you could just let me know in the chat if you have attended one of our presentations before, because then I know if we have new people, I'll start at the beginning of the Cowgirlblues story, but otherwise I will leap straight into yarns and projects and the shopping. Okie dokie. So we're going to get started with our little intro. We are still festive here with our sparkling grape juice, and cheers. Yeah, cheers to all of you. And we have a gifting theme and festive season and being festive. So I hope that we can spend a festive hour together. It would be lovely to get input and questions and things from you as we go along, if there are specific things that you'd like to see. And since most of you are returning to a presentation, we will not go into the huge background story because I think you all know our yarn bases and what we're all about. And we're going to dive straight into fun things like our hats. Thank you, Linda. We like the hats too. And I do confess that we cheated for most of them and whipped them up on the hand knitting machine, but I did knit one of them by hand myself, and in my newsletter next week I will include the pattern for this one, because it's a relatively easy thing to knit up if you want reusable and natural Christmas holiday hats instead of the synthetic store-bought variety. So the hats will definitely be there if you'd like to knit your own. So Katie and I are here this evening, and Katie's ducking on and off the screen because she is manning our chat and putting all the info in there for you. And we really appreciate that so many of you are loyal fans who come back every time and who regularly shop with us. So thank you so much for that support. It means a lot to us, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And we do have a coupon code this time. It is VKL December 21, and that will get you 10% off all of our yarns and accessories. There are a few sale items in our online shop, like our very funky extra large size mohair socks, which are tie-dyed. Those ones, the coupon code does not apply. So if you're ordering some of those, just place a separate order for any of the sale items.
And it's valid till the 14th of December.
Yes, so coupon code valid till the 14th, which is Tuesday. And the reason for that is that we officially close for our summer holidays on Wednesday. We're going to continue shipping online orders until the 23rd. And that from Tuesday, it will be only in-stock items. If there's anything back ordered, we won't be able to dye it until we are back on the 11th of January. So do get those orders in over the weekend so that we can get those dyed up for you before we go. But yes, we will continue shipping in-stock items until the 23rd. And it is not too late to be ordering for pre-Christmas delivery up until this weekend. We use DHL Express for our shipping. They are incredibly reliable and have a very efficient service. So we are still expecting deliveries in our 5 to 7 day international time frame. So you should be getting them in that time window if you are ordering for Christmas gifting or Christmas holiday making. So I think that's probably all the, oh no, I have to do the admin part about live transcription, which is enabled, and you can select it at the bottom if you would like to see that on your screen. It doesn't always pick up our accents perfectly, so you may see a few funnies in the wording there. But I think generally it is pretty good. And then also to say, if you would like to include your pronouns in your name, I would be very happy to see those, because VKL is making a very strong effort at inclusivity and making everyone feel welcome. So please know from our side that you are all welcome, and we're very happy to be chatting with you this evening. This evening our time, this morning your time, because it's 6 p.m. here.
Bob has just asked, how is shipping to Canada?
Okay, so for shipping to Canada, same efficiency, although we have had situations where it goes via the US. The one thing to be aware of in shipping to Canada is that you will be required to pay customs duties and VAT on arrival. So there is a link that you can click through in our checkout page that will tell you what those costs are. And if you want to place the order and you want some help checking with the costs first, we can help you do that on Monday. No pressure. If it ends up being too much in terms of the duties and things, then we do a refund through PayPal. But yes, delivery to Canada should be absolutely fine.
I'll just send Barb a direct message quickly with Elmie's details.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Shopping at cowgirlblues.co.za if you've got any specific questions around that you would like to ask. Yeah. And Elmarie, who many of you have met at previous presentations or have met via email, is very efficient at getting back to you with all the info you need for that. So from there, I'm going to dive straight into talking about yarns and fun stuff, if that is good to go. And please just continue popping questions and things in if there's stuff that you need to know. Have I covered everything on the intro stuff? Yes. Okay, good. So we think that most of you have been to one of our presentations before, so I am not going to take you through much detail on our yarn bases other than to wave them around and, or not wave them, because I know that you can't focus on them if I wave them. But our merino yarn bases, we have a lace weight, our Merino Twist, which is a sport weight, our Merino DK, and then we have got the proper sock, which is one of our newer yarn bases, which is merino and nylon blend and fantastic for sock knitting, as Valera will tell you, because she thinks that it's a great yarn. So yeah. And then we have 3 mohair yarns. They're mohair yarn blends. And the one of these we're going to focus on this evening is, I'm going to turn it so you can see the label, the fluffy mohair, because many of you are in winter. And this is a fantastic winter weight yarn. So I'm going to dive straight into yarns, knitting and pattern. And Ronnie has given me a beautiful intro into what is that shawl that I am wearing. And I'm going to start right there. So this is called the Sweet Dream Shawl. And if I step back a little, I can hold it out so that you can see it. It was designed by a South African designer called Jane Renton, and you can find the pattern on Ravelry. And it is knit using 1 skein in a multicolor yarn and 2 balls per color in 2 different solid colors. And last year we did a knit along in our Zoom knitting group and recorded those. So there is a playlist on our YouTube channel which has every step of the shawl knitting process in there. So it's a great pattern if you want some online friends to knit along with, because we are doing it on YouTube. We're still doing it on YouTube with you. Yeah, we pulled this one out this evening. So we haven't set up a specific bundle for this one yet, but we will do that next week. But it goes really well with the bundles that we've got for the Hitchhiker shawl, which you have seen. So the Hitchhiker over here uses 200 grams of Merino Twist. And there are a bunch of combination bundle options on the website. If I start with this first one, this is called Cape Point Sky. So Katie's going to pop a link into the chat that if you want to click through and have a look at those bundles with me, then you'll be able to see them as we go along. The Hitchhiker bundle has got 200 grams of yarn, so 1 multicolor and 2 balls of a solid. If you wanted to convert that into a Sweet Dreams shawl yarn quantity, you would need to add another 2 balls of Merino Twist in a different solid color. So if I put that one down there, maybe you could pass me the celadon over there. So for something like the Sweet Dreams, you need yarns that are going to have a contrast color, so that you can see the different combinations on top of each other. Another nice option here would be the guinea fowl. Yeah. So there you would have two different blues that could go really beautifully. So you would take the hitchhiker bundle like that and add 2 balls of guinea fowl or another solid color to trade up to a Sweet Dream Shawl bundle. And the pattern for the Sweet Dream Shawl and the hitchhiker are available on Ravelry. So that's the first of the bundles for the hitchhiker. The next one that we have got there is Cape Point colors. And this we have set up with Camps Bay. And again, for the hitchhiker, it would be 1 skein and 2 solids. But if you were to do that to the Sweet Dreams, I think the faded rose would be a really nice contrast color to put in there, because you're really going to see the different colors on top of each other in each section of the shawl. I'm going to swing it around a little bit more there so that you can see some of the other parts of the pattern. And I see Cindy saying she did the Sweet Dreams, Kel, and really enjoyed the yarn, that hers is still a work in progress. So hopefully those videos will keep you inspired to carry on and get that one finished. It is more complicated than the hitchhiker shawl, which is just straight garter stitch. So it's got some interesting mosaic knitting. It actually starts at the pointy end over here and then gets bigger. But a nice lace section that's not too difficult. Some detailed stitches over here, and then the mosaic. So you want yarns that are going to contrast color-wise here. So what we've put with the Cape Point colors is added in Camps Bay. So have a look in the hitchhiker kit and you'll see that. The next one on the hitchhiker kit is the Cape Point flowers with faded rose. And if you wanted to keep this in the pink theme, you could add in some hot pink like that. I'm a big fan of pink and mustard, so you could also switch that out to a bit of mustard. Aubergine could be another one that would make a nice contrast. Top right, yeah. So lots of lovely ways that you can take any multicolor and pair it with either 2 of the same color if you're looking to do something like hitchhiker, or 2 each in 2 different colors for something like the Sweet Dreams shawl. And we've got one more set up on the hitchhiker option, which is the Crazy Cape Point, which is quite red. Put it there, which you could pair very nicely with faded rose. And then if you were going to do this for the Sweet Dream shawl, you could go with a strong contrast in something like Camps Bay. I think it could look really nice with olive or masala. So I do like red and green or pink and green combinations together. I think that they're very striking. If you wanted to stick with the red theme, you could go with a much darker masala. Or even perhaps something like plum. Katie's being a very good Santa's little helper over here and passing me all the yarn balls from the color display. So lots of ways that you could mix that up. And when we get to the end, if there's something in particular you've seen that you'd like to go back to, we can pull some of the colors out again or help you put together a multicolor. And it was time, yeah. And we've got lots of colors to choose from. So this is our Merino Twist mini ball set. And here you can see the whole color palette of all of our solid colors. And these box sets are a beautiful gift, either from me to me, or a really nice way to gift your favorite yarny with a nice little set of all different colors to try. It's a great way, for example, to put together a fade, and each of the balls is 10 grams. And so I think it is 600 grams of yarn. Is that right? Yeah, I think it's 600 grams of yarn in total, because it's 30 different colors in our solid color palette. And these sets come in all of our different yarn bases. So this one is the Merino Twist. Another one that is really lovely, especially if you're a sock knitter, is the Proper Sock set, because one of these minis is perfect for heels and toes on a pair of socks or cuffs and toes. And so it's great to have an option of all of the colors to play with as you are working through yarn stash when you're sock knitting. So definitely put those on your gifting list. And I'm just wondering, okay, I'm going to carry on talking about Merino Twist for a bit, and then we'll come back to our sock yarn and the Proper Sock. And so for the Merino Twist, I want to talk you through some of our limited edition yarns that Boosie dyed, and hopefully you saw her yesterday or Thursday. And if not, I will be putting those recordings onto YouTube, and there'll be a link to them on our newsletter next week on Tuesday, or do go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and then you'll get a notification as soon as they're loaded. So this is the first of the limited edition colorways. This one is called Holiday Feeling. So Boosie said that this is, it's a softer color combination. It starts a little slowly, and it's represents that space we've been in for the last couple of weeks where we're starting to, we can feel the holidays coming. We're getting into the holiday vibe, and we're starting to get ready for it. And these limited editions are also great yarns for something like this Sweet Dream Shawl project. And for a color like this, you would want to choose 2 solid colors to pair with it. So for example, you could go to the aubergine and to Camps Bay to make a really striking color combination. Yeah, there's the aubergine. So that would look beautiful with this one. So would Camps Bay as a color combination there. So the limiteds are a really lovely way for starting to create a color palette for something like this shawl or any shawl pattern, and then picking out elements of those colors to work in for some beautiful contrasts. So Holiday Feeling is a starting point for the holiday vibe. And Boosie's next color that went with Holiday Feeling is called Bernini, Bubbly Bernini. And I don't know if you are, so I think this was, Bernini is a kind of sparkling Elko pop wine cooler, I think that's what you call them in the US. Yes, so once you're really into the holiday vibe, you've got the Bernini flowing, and it's bubbles and parties, it's party time all the way. And these 2 colors also pair really beautifully together. So if you were thinking about something like the Hitchhiker, that would be a really lovely combo to put the 2 together, or again to mix that up, you know, with some nice strong solids for a pattern like the Sweet Dreams shawl.
Or beanies.
Yes. So I'm going to come back and talk about the beanies a little bit as well. I knitted mine with 100-gram skein of our Aran single, but you could very easily pair that up with a multicolor and to either knit it on a smaller needle or to double it with a solid color yarn to get the yarn weight up.
Jelly and custard.
Yes. Yeah, I think you have to tell them about Busiswa's jelly and custard.
So we were asking Busiswa when she was dying what her inspiration was, what she was thinking of. So she said she's just thinking of the holidays. And so that's how the first color holiday feeling came about. The next one was what we asked what she ate if she was looking forward to eating. So she said yes. I said, what's your favorite? What do you have? She said, no, we just have normal food. We just have our traditional bright food. And then for dessert, she said we have jelly and custard. So this is part of Bussi's Christmas celebration, is jelly and custard for her dessert.
Yeah. And we had our work Christmas event yesterday, and we were going around as we were getting ready to do our Secret Santa gift opening, and we were talking about what do we eat on Christmas, and every family and sort of culture is a little different, but lots of the staff said yes, definitely the jelly and custard. And I think you would call it jello, not jelly, I think. And this bright green and the bright red definitely represent those jelly colors, with a little bit of the yellow custard vibe in there. So that's very much also sort of festive season with the greens and the reds. And then Christmas candy is another one that goes in there for the food.
So we asked Busiswa what does she, what other Christmas things does she do? What are their traditions? So she told us about the big sock that she has at the Christmas tree. Obviously,
like our Christmas stockings.
Our Christmas stocking, a big sock, and it's filled with sweets. And that to her is all the colors of Christmas. And so this one is Christmas candy.
Yeah. So again, these two go really beautifully together as being tonally similar, but with a different sort of redder in this one and stronger colors than in the jelly and custard, and would combine really nicely into a striped version of the hitchhiker, or to use as a base color for the Sweet Dream shawl. And we didn't put together color combinations for these ones, but I think particularly the Christmas candy could go really nicely with rainforest and possibly even the hot pink, if you were sticking with quite a bright vibe, or maybe a ruby grapefruit. Yeah, so that could be a really lovely color combination with those two yarns that would give you the contrast in the detail of something like the Sweet Dream shawl. Okay, so those were Bussi's limited editions that you'll find on the website in the limited edition section, and they work really well either on their own to mix up with something in your stash, as a couple of skeins together if there's something that you are knitting one project where you like multiple pieces the same color, but also really beautiful for working into shawls like this kind of thing where you've got one multicolor and a couple of solids going with it. And the other thing, I'm going to whip off my very cute Santa hat for a minute, because I think that they would also be a really cute way to, I'm going to show you my unfinished version, but I don't know if you are on Andrea Mowry's newsletter, but she published her Harlow Wusted beanie pattern this week. And I thought that it would be a really cute way to knit with, I just used 2 balls of our Merino Twist, and this is what I've got left, so I've got some space to keep working and then to close it off. Her recommended yarn was one of the Brooklyn Tweed tonal colors or tones, I think, and the meterage on it's a slightly heavier yarn than our Merino Twist, but the twister works so beautifully, and 2 50-gram balls is perfect for for this pattern. And it's you know, being brioche, it's a little bit of a slow knit, but it's also completely reversible brioche. So I'm just going to fold it down like that so that you can see. But the way she's designed the pattern, you can reverse it once you've finished. And we've got so many of our colors in our solid collection that are really good tonal combinations. So if I show you over here in the mini set, you know, terracotta and carrot juice, you can pretty much pair any of the blues, any of the pinks, purples, greens, will give you that tonal connection if you're knitting something like this. So I just thought it was a really cool pattern. And so I've been at home doing a bit of knitting and trying to get this finished. It unfortunately is not beanie season for us here right now, but I also thought that this idea would work beautifully in a cowl, just by casting on a few extra stitches. And if you were going to do something like a cowl for this, that those multicolors that I showed you are limited editions, would also be a really stunning combination, either two combined like that for a more subtle brioche effect, or one of these with a solid, I mean the aubergine. Yeah, so for example, if you put those two together in a brioche, you'd get such a stunning color combination, and the fact that it's reversible, that you can see whichever one you want in the background or foreground, I think is a really nice knit. So I think this is going to be a very useful pattern, and I'm going to knit a lot of these, and by the time we come back in January, I may have a couple of them to show you. So yeah, so I really love this this pattern idea. It's the Harlow Wusted beanie from Andrea Mowry.
Before you go on to the next thing,
Yeah.
I just saw Diana's question.
Okay.
About the collections.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So Diana, I saw you asked a question, can they be used to make projects, or are they only used for color pops? You can really use them any way you want. So I saw that Stephen West has a new pattern out. I saw it on Instagram today, and I can't think what it's called. Katie, would you mind just having a quick look on Instagram, West Knits? So his is, you could use it as a stash buster, or for something like this combined with a stash buster, because you can really transition from one color to the next using something like this. So we haven't created a pattern yet that only uses the minis, but it certainly is something that I've been thinking about. Although I don't know if I can go the full rainbow in one pattern, but the minis are a really lovely way to transition colors if you are doing a pattern like that. Do you manage to find it?
The melting.
No, this one. I'm going to just hold it up here. So if I hold it up there, oops, you can see there, this design of his, it is called the Melting Marl Scarf. And you can see how something like that could really work into that pattern, because you're transitioning through so many colors. And if you've got small ends in your stash that you want to work with, then these are a really nice way to add into mine. Okay, so Diana, were you thinking this West Knits pattern when you asked about it? Because I must say, seeing this this morning, yeah, that's a beautiful way to put that set together.
Yeah, that's the exact one I was thinking about, and I wondered if the little balls that you had, the yardage or the meterage on those was enough to create that kind of marl that he does.
So I don't know, I haven't looked at the details of this pattern of his, but I certainly think that it would, I mean, it's unlikely that he's using, I mean, 600 grams is a lot. So 600 grams in this is 1800 meters of yarn. So that's a lot of yarn for a sweater, even for a sweater. So I think for this one, you should, there's a good chance that it will work with a pattern like this in mind. But I can have a look for you if we've got a minute at the end and just see exactly what the meterage is on this pattern and see.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, you're welcome.
The twist here is 30 meters per ball.
Yes, but because they're 30,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so we will go and have a little look at that pattern and see if that one could work with that set.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome. So the next yarn that I just wanted to talk about a little bit is our proper sock. And we have got a couple of sets in the proper sock. The minis for the proper sock are lovely for heels and toes, or things like this, where I knitted Sari Nordland's Midnight Dancer socks and put my frill in a contrast color and the toe as well. And we've got a couple of sock combinations with some limited editions in the Midnight Dancer kit section. So here we've got Bridget's Blush, which we've paired with Lemon, like my socks. Then we also have Candy Crush, which is paired with, I'm going to turn it a bit that way, paired with Camp's Bay. And the third combination we have there is Boosie's Blues with Ruby Grapefruit. And those ones are available in, they're under the Midnight Dancer knit kit section or yarn bundle.
Just put the link in.
Yeah, Katie's just popped the link in the chat if you want to have a look at that one. So the meterage in the proper sock skeins, it's approximately 360 meters. And it was plenty of yarn for me to, I'm just looking for my little ones. So I made a pair for me and then a pair for my niece, all off the same ball. So this was one skein and one mini. And I only just fitted in with the mini, but I've still got some yarn left on my ball here. So definitely enough to knit an adult size pair with a longer leg in one skein of the sock. We do wind skeins into balls for you. So if you're placing an order and would like us to ball them for you, just put a note in the notes section at the end as you're going through the checkout process, and we can sort that out for you. So the next yarn that I want to talk to you about a little bit, which we haven't done justice to in VKLs up until now because it hasn't been quite cold enough. But since many of you are in midwinter, we are going to talk about our fluffy mohair yarn, which is this one over here. And it is a blend of 78% kid mohair, 16% wool, and 6% nylon. I'm having a mental blank there. Sorry, 78% mohair, 13% wool, and 9% nylon. And it is a brushed mohair yarn that knits up at double knitting-ish weight. And I say ish because it's really nice yarn for knitting in quite a loose gauge. And we have got a lovely knit kit option for you on the website. I'm just going to see which way I'm going to put it on. So this is the big brioche scarf. And it's the big brioche scarf because it's pretty long. So if you are bundling up this winter, this one is a great scarf to knit. It's a very gentle 2-color brioche, and it uses 2 skeins of the fluffy mohair. And the way that I did it was with a single color brioche on each end and then the 2-color in between. And it's really light. So, I mean, this is only 200 grams. It's got quite a lot of air because it's knitted on a loose gauge. And the way that the mohair works in terms of keeping you warm is that that airy loose knit actually traps a lot of air in the scarf and around your body, and then your body heat warms the air up. So it creates a little cushion of warm air, warmed by your body, and is, yeah, it's really a joy to wear. And I definitely need a trip to a snowy climate in order to be wearing this one, because it's too much for our South African winters. But the fluffy mohair is beautiful for sweaters of all sorts of weights. But if you want to give it a try, the big brioche scarf is a lovely place to start. And I know that Linda is looking at some options for this. Anna, whip it off. Because yeah, so we'll talk you through the standard colors, all the color combinations we've put on the website. And then Linda had a question about some color pairings, and so I want to just give her some ideas for that. So the one I just showed you is Cape Carnival with natural. Then we have put together Happy Days with Orchid Blush as another option for you. And we've gone more subtle also, Under Pressure with Silver Fox. So those ones are standard colors. Obviously, you can combine any colors you want to put together for something like that. And Linda was asking, what else could she put with Happy Days? So you could put the natural together with Happy Days. You'd get a similar contrast to what you saw over here with the Cape Carnival. Or, for example, you could go with something, you know, if you wanted to go more pink and strong, hot pink with the Happy Days would work really nicely.
Okay.
So that could be a good color combo. And then some of the other colors that Linda was asking about is what would we put with Air Force? So this Air Force skein is in our Aran yarn, but just to give you a color indication, we've got some Moody Blues in the fluffy mohair on the website. So Moody Blues would go really beautifully with the Air Force, or the 9 to 5 could go nicely as a contrast with the Air Force, or 9 to 5 with the Celadon, which is a softer, more greeny blue, or even the Seagrass. The Seagrass could also look nice with the Moody Blues as two different blue combinations. Or of course you could do something like Moody Blues with indigo. Yeah, so I hope that gives you a few ideas, Linda.
Mhm. I was,
Oh, you're on mute.
yeah, I was originally thinking the natural with the Happy Days, but I
Yes.
do like the hot pink too.
Yeah, the hot pink would be really fun. Both of those would work really nicely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
All righty.
And while we are talking about the fluffy mohair, we have got another knit kit bundle on the website, which is the Good Karma shawl. And for the Good Karma shawl, just doing that. The Good Karma shawl is one skein of the fluffy mohair, one ball of the Merino Twist, although you hold it double when you knit it, and one skein of Merino DK. And so it gives you some textural differences and some nice color combinations as you are putting those together. And we've put together a few options for you. This one uses Karma Chameleon in the fluffy and in the DK, and we've put it with aubergine in the Merino Twist. And we've got a few other color options there. I think these ones are mixed together. Here is 9 to 5 in the fluffy mohair in the DK with terracotta in the Merino Twist. And then Katie's got
My favorite one.
this one is Signs of Spring in Merino Twist, Signs of Spring in fluffy mohair and DK, and then the Merino Twist in Faded Rose. Or if you wanted to spice it up, you could always put the Merino Twist in hot pink, or you could do it in rainforest. You stretch across and the rainforest. Yeah. So if you wanted to go more subtle, you could put it with the rainforest, or a bit wild and crazy and put it with hot pink. So it's quite nice to take two in the same colorway and then play around with what do you put in the middle in terms of how they go together. So those are some of the things that we wanted to highlight for you today. And we've got a few minutes left. I've got lots more that I can show you, but I wanted to just find out, are there particular things that anyone would like to see, or you've got any questions you'd like me to answer? I'd be very happy to answer them, or to show you anything specific, or look at some yarn color combination options. Over to
Bridget,
you.
Your fluffy mohair, if you held that together with a fingering weight yarn, like your proper sock,
Yeah.
what weight am I thinking? Is it worsted? Is it still DK?
Oh no, I would push it up from there. I would say, depending on what you want to knit. So if you held the fluffy with the proper sock, or even with the Merino Twist or the lace single, definitely think about it as more of an Aran weight, or even a chunky pattern, just because I think that the fluffy works better when you give it a little bit of room to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So by holding, because of how the yarn is constructed, if I hold it up like that, you get an idea of the thread. That when it's got a little space around it, you're really getting the maximum effect of the fluffy. I mean, you can knit it in a very dense, a tighter gauge, but I think working it into a fabric with more drape, I think slightly looser would be better.
Yeah. And then when you block it, do you feel like it blooms quite a bit, changes?
I think it's pretty much up to you in terms of how you block it. I think the blocking settles the yarn quite nicely, and so shaping it to block is good. Mohair doesn't have the same elasticity as Merino does, and so if you're looking for a kind of a very fitted shape garment, then I think working in a Merino is a better option. Whereas more drapey, flowy type garments, shawls, blankets, that kind of thing, I think the Mohair and the fluffy particularly work quite well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then I also have a pattern in my favorites on Ravelry, and I wonder maybe if Katie can pull this up and take a peek at it. It's called Cracked Glass.
Okay.
And I wonder if that mini set might be a good match for this scarf project.
Okay, we'll get that up and have a little look, and then come back to you and see.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And while we find that one, does anyone else have some questions of things they'd like to see and follow up on, that we can show you some color options? Otherwise, I've got a couple of questions for you. I'm very happy to take questions. I'd also love to get some feedback from all of you in terms of things that you like to see at VKL, and how we can make our yarns more accessible to you. So do you like to see projects from all sorts of designers knitted up in the yarn, so you can get an idea of how popular patterns might work? So for example, looking at some of the, things like the shawlography shawl, those kinds of things. Or would you like us to be creating more knit kits and more of our own patterns for you? Are you more of a put them together and then choose one of the color options that we've done? Yeah, it's just interesting. Diana says she likes knit kits. Yeah, so getting a combination of a pattern with yarns and being able to visualize what it looks like from there is quite helpful. You can't find it?
No.
Oh, can you tell us again, Cindy? Crack glass. Okay,
No, I have found
you
it.
talk to them. I'll
Yes,
go and
I'll go find it. My question was actually for Diana about the knit kits. What kind of, I'm just seeing there, Colleen, love your patterns and kits. I like both approaches, but what, yeah, what kind of product for knit kits? Yeah, what is?
Well, kind of all kinds. Not, I'm just me personally. I'm not so much a sweater knitter as more the shawl, scarf, hat, those type of kits, because so many people are mixing colors nowadays and using color theory and things like that. So sometimes even the colors that you're holding up, it would have been hard for me to visualize, some of those combinations going together. So when you put it in a kit and you're telling me it goes together,
And that's helpful.
That's very helpful.
Did I understand you correctly that you said not so much jerseys, more scarves and shawls?
Yes, yeah, just larger projects. I mean, because a sweater quantity is a huge amount of yarn and quite an investment. But I find the kits, I like them better when they're smaller projects.
Yes. Okay, that's really helpful.
Yeah. That's just me personally.
Oh, yeah, that's hugely helpful.
What about some, hi, how you doing?
Yes,
This is
good.
Deanna.
Hi, Deanna.
What about some vests? Because they're very popular now.
Yes, yeah.
And that doesn't take a huge quantity of yarn. And I thought that would be for a change.
Okay.
So that's an idea.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Thank you. And so to answer a couple of points there. So Cindy, you asked about the cracked glass shawl, and we've pulled up the pattern. It says 700 to 800 meters of yarn that you would need for that one. And I'm just, sorry, I just want to double check here. Times 30. So one of our boxes here in the Merino Twist has got 900 meters of yarn. So that should be plenty for that project. And then, so just a couple of the questions and comments coming through. So nice to see the color combos that we come up with in the kits. Yeah, so that we do try to give you at least three options for the projects. If we haven't worked them up in all three options, then at least to suggest some color combinations. And then Alyssa said it's nice to see popular patterns in different yarn than originally used. So thank you. We're also trying to do a little bit of that. And the shawlography is a great example. So I'm going to show you here. If you haven't seen it, this is my shawlography that I knitted up in our yarn. And I did last year's slip extravaganza in our Cowgirlblues yarn as well. So yeah, and then Jackie said she likes to see the swatches and the projects and the fun holiday hats, new colors and things. So that's great.
So just about the shawlography, on the website there's a kit as well for the shawlography. There's a few, but the most recent one we've just added is for the colorway that Bridget chose. It's called Bridget's Pick under the shawlography knit kits. So yeah, so there you can see her exact colors, and I believe she's actually starting to knit another shawlography.
I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah, so we might have another one of the other colorways actually knit up in the shawlography that we can show as well. But yeah, her shawlography color choice is amazing.
Katie, where's your phone? I just want the name of that Stephen West shawl, because I just want to double check for that West Knits one that he put out.
Just recently, it's called the Melting Marl Scarf.
A melting marl scarf. Okay, because I found a melting marl shawl and I knew that was not the right one.
Yes.
And so melting.
So I think while I'm waiting for Bridget, I'm going to show you the scrappy cushions, which,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So we don't like to waste anything here. I'm getting a bit hot and bothered with all my.
Do you want to take the brioche scarf
No, I
off?
don't.
Okay, cool.
I like it. It's cozy. So we don't throw anything away. Nothing's wasted, and that includes all the ends, the little pieces of yarn that are actually cut off after the balls are wound and the skeins are spun, other way around, twisted. Sorry. So we've been collecting them all, and what we do is sort them into color codes. Yes, thank you. Sort them into color codes, and almost based on like an old felting or quilt or tapestry quilting technique.
So we closer, you can see that they're stitched.
Sorry, I have to take this beanie off. And then that's the green colorway. So it has a really beautiful kind of marbled look, and we've made this what we call scrappy fabric. We've made it into cushions. The back has a linen and cotton blend. It's got a contrast piping, and they come in two sizes: 50 by 50 and 30 by 50. I think
40 by 60.
40 by 60. That's it. And there's these three colorways: the blue and the greens and the reds that we have here. That one for you. And then there's another 3 color options on the website as well. And obviously we don't, the inners are just to show you how they look, but we'll ship them flat packed. But they are, they're definitely unique. Each one is completely unique. And they're also done by hand. They're made by hand here. And 2 of the women have just started learning to sew. So it's quite a nice, exciting project that they are responsible for. And then, then there's offcuts from this waste project, and that we're putting onto the knit kit bags, and it coordinates with the color knit kit that you're getting.
So you can see from the outside the color of the yarn on the inside.
So that one actually, that's the beehive blanket in blue.
Yeah.
And then we also had
offcuts from the offcuts from the offcuts from the offcuts.
So really nothing is thrown away. So these little offcuts, or when we cut the fabric, we cut them into squares, we get these little scraps, and those we stitch onto gift tags. So those we've also just popped on the website, and they're in sets of 5.
Yeah, so they're a nice little thing to add into your order, and that way you get to share the yarn love when you're doing your festive season gifting. So I just wanted to come back to the melting marl scarf, and looking at the pattern, it takes about 3,000 meters of yarn in that project. Wow. Which is just a little bit insane. And so if you were looking to do something like that with one of our yarn sets, there is 900 meters in one of the Merino Twist sets, but actually I think that the proper sock would be a better option for that, because there is, how much? I think there's about 1,800 meters or more in the proper sock. Katie's just double checking for me now. And that way you could take something like this and then add in the little bits that you've got in your stash and just kind of pair them or organize them next to each of the other colors as you go through. So this would be, this would just help you to organize those different colors exactly. And to add your stash bits in together.
Right. I think it sounds like an incredible amount, because I just looked it up on Ravelry, and it looks like he held 3 different strings together.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you wouldn't need
to make a DK weight yarn.
So I mean, the other option then I would say is take the DK box and don't hold the 3 together, or to use something like the Merino Twist. And instead of using 3 strands of fingering weight to get to DK, use 1 strand of Merino Twist and 1 strand of fingering, because the idea with the marling is that you always have at least 2 strands together, so that as you're changing one, you get some overlap and it's a more subtle transition rather than straps.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you do have a box in DK though, correct?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on the website in the mini collection. And
Okay.
I love Cindy's comment. I'm not knitting 3,000 meters. Yeah, but the combining them three together, that does make a bit more sense that you're knitting
Right.
1,000 meters. But even so, that's a very long scarf
Yeah,
project. And you can see from how
yes.
he holds it down, dangling down to the basement. I mean, you don't really need to knit it quite that long.
No, mine would not be that long. I'm not that tall. I can't do that.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I just wanted to say to, I think it's Betty, that on each of your, since we launched the Scrappy collection now, on every Cowgirlblues order, online order, you actually get a tag, a little Scrappy thank you tag. So if you place enough orders, you might be able to put up your Christmas tree.
Good point, Katie. I like that. Yes. So just keep ordering, and maybe for next Christmas, you will have a Christmas tree full. Yeah, indeed you do,
Yeah.
Betty. Indeed you do. So we have almost finished our slot, and I'm very happy to stay and answer any other questions anyone may have. But I also understand you've got other vendors to go and visit. So just a big thank you from us for joining us. Yeah, this is kind of our wrap up for VKL for the year, but we will be back in January, and we'll have some new things to show you. And yeah, if you haven't already signed up for our newsletter, then do head on over to the website and do that.
I did put the link in at the beginning. Check out the link
Yeah, and follow us on YouTube and Instagram and those things, and place your orders so that we can ship them to you before the holidays kick in. We would hate you to be stranded in the snow without enough knitting. Yeah.
and comments on events.
Oh yes, please do also leave some feedback on the event hub, because it's always good for VKL to hear that you've enjoyed the session, or for us to get feedback if there are things we can do better and differently next time. Yeah. Thank you very much, Colleen. Thank you, Katrin. Yeah, awesome. And have a great, great festive season.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I have an order there that Elmarie is holding to the side, right? Because I thought I might need to augment it this weekend. So Kid Silk and Karma Chameleon, I might need I don't know, 1, 2, 3 skeins of that for project. So if I understood correctly, because of your upcoming holiday, you could still do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Put your order in this weekend, because then we'll get it dyed on Monday. And if we don't ship it on Wednesday, then it'll be ready to ship the following Monday.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
But normally, I mean, the weather's good at the moment. They dry quickly. So it'll be dyed first thing on Monday morning and then sent off.
Okay. I just need to not dilly-dally.
Exactly.
All right.
Awesome. Okay.
I have a question about this. Excuse me. I have a question about the same one.
Yes.
Somebody that I want to buy the kit for cannot work with or wear mohair.
Okay.
Is there something that can be substituted in that for the mohair?
So which kit is it? Is it the Joys
The
of
Karma, the one that has the, I can't remember its name.
the Good Karma Shawl.
That one, yes.
This one.
Yes.
Yes. So I just have to think about the meterage. There is about 200 meters. So the fluffy mohair has got a little bit longer meterage than the DK. So what we've done here is you've gone halfway with the fluffy and then done the twist and the DK. What I would recommend then is actually doing 2 DK and 2 twist. So we could substitute that for you, and I can help you figure out how to do it. You could just, if you want to order the kit, then go ahead and order the kit and just make a note for Elmarie. Otherwise, drop us an email on shopping@Cowgirlblues, and you could stick with, so you could do it as a mirror image. So 2 skeins of the Merino DK, and then either stick with the same, 2 of the Merino Twist in the aubergine, or put a second stripe in. So for example, it would then go the DK, the aubergine, then you could go to rainforest and then the DK again on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if
All
that
right.
makes sense or if it was a little confusing.
It's a little confusing, but
Can I interrupt? I've just popped Elmarie's email address into the chat for you.
okay.
So
And Valeria, if you don't mind dropping her an email saying you need to substitute the fluffy. And
Okay.
I know that we've had this conversation, so I'll explain to her how you can do it, and just we can then visually show you what I'm
Great.
suggesting.
Okay, I will do that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, so welcome. Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Happy holidays to all of you there. Happy holidays.
Thank
Every
you.
time you present, all I want to do is get on an airplane and come to Cape Town.
Oh, Cindy, we would love you to get on an airplane and come to Cape Town. Little tricky at the moment since we're sort of persona non grata, but I know that'll change. The Omicron thing will settle,
And then like, what will it be next month? You know, this just goes on and on in terms of
I know.
hurdles,
Ridiculous.
but
I
yeah,
know.
hopefully,
Ridiculous.
you know, like, but we need to get traveling again. I hope it happens pretty soon. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. Awesome.
All right.
So lovely to
Take-
see you, and have a great festive season as well.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays. See you next month.
See you next month. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.